Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe? What is it that gives value to this universe? What gives value to this universe is the intellect. Without the intellect, there's not much meaning to this universe. What gives value to the buildings that we have? The fact that there are people who live in them. If you pass by a city in the middle of the desert with the most beautiful buildings and skyscrapers and streets, but no one lives in it, no one appreciates its beauty, wouldn't you say whoever built the city wasted their time? Did so without any wisdom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created this universe for a purpose. That purpose is not achieved without the intellect. It's the intellect that gives value to this universe. Because you have angels and humans who have the intellect, who can worship Allah, who can appreciate the beauty of this universe, the greatness of this universe. It's the intellect that gives value to this universe. Hence, we have traditions and hadiths that state the most beloved creation of Allah is what? Someone asks you, what's God's most prized, cherished creation? What is it? The sun? Okay, the sun is great, but so what? The galaxies? What is it? It's the aql, the intellect. It's the most beloved creation of God. Why? Because it obeys God. It perceives the greatness of God. And hence we have hadiths that state Allah has completed the intellect in those whom He loves most, who are Muhammad and Al Muhammad salawatullahi alayhi. Allah gave them the full intellect. And Allah created the universe for the intellect, because without the intellect there's no meaning. So if you remove the full intellect, there's not much value to this universe. Why would it continue? What's the purpose of it? You see why the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam allow the universe to continue? Why they justify the continuation of this universe? It's because they are the perfect human beings, and Allah created the universe for the perfect human being. And in our era, the one who represents that perfect being is an Imam Mahdi ajjallahu ta'ala farajah. He carries the full intellect. He has the full knowledge. And hence, because of him and his existence, Allah allows the planet to continue to exist. And Allah continues to bless us. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thanked Allah and your Imam for that? As you are celebrating his birth this year, stand before the Imam and say, Ya Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, thank you. I appreciate your existence. I acknowledge that through you, Allah continues to bless me and my family and my society. That's the least that we can do, to thank the Imam of our time. Yes, even if he's in occultation, he's absent. But remember that through him, Allah is blessing you and allowing you to exist. He has the right of life over all of us. The least that we can do is to express that gratitude. Secondly, if you have faith and you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you seek the intercession of Ahlul Bayt and you try to do good, your Imam prays for you. You don't want to thank him for that? Imagine this pure creation of Allah praying for you and your family. Your Imam cares and he prays for you. You don't necessarily need to see him physically to know that. Do you see shaitan physically? Do you? Maybe some people see human shaitans in society. There are some evil people. But Iblis, Satan, do you see him physically? No. But doesn't he influence you negatively? Doesn't he whisper evil thoughts to you? Doesn't he? If you're a Muslim and you believe in the Quran, you believe in this. You don't have to see Imam al-Mahdi physically to experience the blessings of his existence. In the morning, just say, Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-asr wa zaman. Thank you, my Imam. And you'll see that day will be a better day. You will experience good blessings. Allah will give you special tawfiq and success on that day through the Imam of your time. Just like shaitan whispers to you evilness, the Imam alayhi salam is the source of guidance. Through the dua of your Imam, through the blessings of your Imam, a good idea comes to your mind and you find the motivation to do it. Thank your Imam for that. If you have any success, any goodness in your life, thank the Imam of your time for that. And that's how you thank Allah. Because when you want to truly thank Allah, you recognize the means that He has given you to succeed. And the strongest of those means is the presence of the Imam of your time. Thank him for that. Also, when you realize that Imam al-Mahdi, ajjallahu farajah, is the complete human being, he is the best worshipper. When he prays, his salah is the best of salah. When he gives charity, it's the most sincere act. Every act of obedience that we have, Imam al-Mahdi does it in the best way possible. Don't you want to thank him for that? See, if you have a family and you have a mother and you love your mother, you really love her, and one of your siblings always obeys mom in the best way possible, don't you want to go to that brother or sister and tell them, thank you, Habibi? Thank you for being such a good son or daughter to mom? If you have someone whom you love and you respect, and there is someone who's pleasing that being, that person, isn't it your ethical, moral obligation to go and at least thank them? That's why in Ziyarat Ali Yasin, which is dedicated to the Imam of our time, we send salam to the Imam in different states. As-salamu alayka hina taqum. As-salamu alayka hina taqud. Peace be upon you when you stand. Peace be upon you when you sit. As-salamu alayka hina tusalli wa taqnut. Peace be upon you when you pray and when you supplicate. Why? Because your Imam's prayer is the most complete, beautiful prayer. When he stands, it's the best standing. It's in Allah's obedience. When he sits, it's the best sitting. Every move he does is the perfect move. Thank him for that. That's the least that we can do. So intellectually, theologically, we realize Imam al-Mahdi ajjallahu farajah has a right over us, and we thank him for that. Show that shukr and gratitude every day in your life. Thank him for the sacrifices that he has done for 12 centuries. You think it's easy? Sometimes we see the pain and suffering of one human being. We can't sleep. Imagine your Imam seeing the pain and suffering of millions or billions of people around earth. How injured and wounded is your Imam's heart? But he's sacrificing for the sake of Allah, for the sake of humanity, because he will establish justice on earth. Thank him for that. Thank him for going through all that suffering. That's the least that we can do. Now this brings us to a very fundamental, important point. Thankfulness and gratitude is not something that we just do by the tongue. It's highly recommended to express that. But the real gratitude is through a'mal, through actions. And hence, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the family of Prophet Dawood alayhi salam in the Quran, what does Allah tell them in the Quran? اعملوا آل داود شكرا وقليل من عبادي الشكور. O family of Dawood, do thanks. Not just say thanks, but implement gratitude. Through your actions, show your gratitude. If I want to show my gratitude to Imam al-Mahdi ajjallahu farajah, I need to do so through my deeds, through my actions. Do my actions indicate that I love my Imam and I appreciate his existence? When I'm about to sin, do I remember that I have an Imam and he's a witness over this nation and he is aware of what we do? Does the blessed presence and existence of the Imam on earth encourage me to stop sins? If yes, that's gratitude. You're showing gratitude to your Imam because you're basically telling your Imam, oh Imam, by remembering you and knowing that you exist, I've stopped myself from sinning. So thank you. Your presence as my leader is motivating me to stop sins. It's the best gratitude you can show to your imam. But to the contrary, if I'm sinning left and right, I'm oppressing my nafs and I'm oppressing others and I'm being toxic and abusive and just succumbing to my temptations and desires, is that gratitude? You can say, Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-zaman, but minutes later when you sin, that's ingratitude. I'm betraying my salam to my imam. This is a very fundamental point to keep in mind as we want to express our gratitude and thanks to the imam of our time. This gratitude has to be demonstrated through our actions. It's a practical demonstration. That's how you thank your imam. You thank your imam by establishing justice with your nafs, with your family, with your society. And as we are thinking of justice and the future of this world, showing gratitude to Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu farajan has two dimensions. One is the past. Oh Allah, thank you for creating such a good imam and blessing me with such an imam. And the present, I continue to exist because of the existence of my imam. And very importantly, the future as well. Because we await the return of our imam. What is he going to do? Establish justice on earth, right? You know that you play a role in that. If right now you try to establish justice, you create love for Imam al-Mahdi in your family and society. You're showing gratitude to your imam by bringing the heart to your imam, by being a good representative of your imam. That will expedite the return of the imam and him establishing justice. But if to the contrary, I've not been a good representative, if I commit sins and more corruption exists on earth, this makes the task of establishing justice on earth more delayed and more difficult. More delayed and more difficult. Do you really want to add to the burdens of Imam al-Mahdi? Do we? That's the worst ingratitude that can come from us. And hence, especially for those of us who are considered to be religious and representing the faith, we have a very big responsibility. If through our actions we ruin the reputation of religion, we don't give a good image of our imams, this makes the task of establishing justice more difficult. Because Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu farajah will be met with more resistance. Yes, Allah will give him victory, it's a promise. But how that victory is going to happen, how long it will take, this depends on many factors. One of those factors is us. We and what we do. So when you want to express gratitude for the imam of your time, think of the future. What I do now will have an impact on the future and determine the future. I can make things easier for my imam, or I can make them more difficult. I can either push away people from the imam and delay their reappearance and make establishing justice more difficult, or I can draw people to my imam through my akhlaq and character, such that when people see me, they're amazed. Wow, they're mesmerized. Who do you follow? If you have an imam like the Mahdi, and this is what he's produced, such amazing students, such amazing followers, we're interested, we're on board. This would expedite the dhuhur of the imam and make the task of establishing justice easier. So you want to thank your imam? make things easier for you. That's another way of examining gratitude towards our Imam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our Imam, Imam Mahdi ajjalallahu faraj. We ask Allah to enable us to express gratitude to him by expressing gratitude to the Imam of our time. At the level of the heart, through our tongues, and more importantly, through our actions. We ask Allah to illuminate our hearts and minds with the light of Imam al-Hujjah ajjalallahu ta'ala farajah. Allahumma barik لمولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. اللهم عجل فرجه وسهل مخرجه واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.